It is Wednesday and it is noon, so we are live on Facebook. We're here every Wednesday. Grab lunch, bring all your mortgage related questions, and let's talk about what's going on in the market. We always have a topic, and today's topic is going to be the $100,000 second mortgage down payment assistance from Palm Beach County. So we're going to go ahead and hit that. And we want to, there's 50 applicants or applications that are going to be available. And I want to have at least 5 come out of this office. And really, I'd love to have 10 come out of our office. And it can't happen. We just got to be prepared. But I'm here with Elizabeth Lopez, as always, and Tom Bennick over on the end. We've been together forever doing this business. And, this down payment assistance, we've been big on down payment assistance, home run, hometown heroes, bond programs. And again, this is just one other one on there, and it's going to be a little work. We're going to have to be prepared to get it, but we want them.
Look, a little disclaimer before we get started. We all have been working together, yes, for a very long time. So long that we've synced our outfits together. There were no phone calls made before this Facebook today, so we just all happen to be color coordinated. So that's how
well we work together. I mean, if that doesn't say it, I don't know what does. So,
well, all our cameras went on at once, and it was like, oh.
Also, real quickly, I want to say is we're going to be doing home buyer classes. So TMF classes. TMF is in the mortgage firm. TMFclasses.com. We do regular classes. We're going to do one tonight. So 6:30 tonight, we're going to be covering the home buyer class. We'll have it on Zoom. Also, what time tonight? You're going to be at PR Bakery, Elizabeth.
PR Bakery today at 6:30. So we're expecting a good crowd. And as always, you just leave there just with some good information. And we'll have just door prizes, raffles. Like we always try to make it fun. So
you leave with good information and good pastries too. Good
for sure. With full belly. Yep.
And we'll also be doing the home buyer class. So if you sign up for the home buyer class either tonight or next Wednesday, we'll be covering the down payment assistance at both of those. So our 6:30 home buyer class via Zoom tonight. So I would say if you get a chance, go to Elizabeth. She'll be touching base on the $100,000 tonight also at PR Bakery. But then also you can hop into the Zoom class. But if you're looking at buying and you fall within some of the criteria, which we'll cover today, might as well jump out there and see if you get that $100,000.
Yeah.
Do I start? I didn't want to start with the. Do I start with the rate? Let's start with the positive on the rate. Let's do a little positive on the rate here. So again, if you look back from the beginning of time, the rates were great.
What does that say? 1980.
15.
I wasn't even born. What happened, guys?
You weren't even born. So I'm graduating high school. Elizabeth is thinking about being born. Not quite there. And 15.8. Unbelievable. 15.8. And now today we're at 4.5. So everything is perspective. You look at it from the last 50 years, you look good. You look at it from the last 6 months, you might get a little bit frustrated. But the bottom line is they are what they are, and I'm always a proponent of long term. And again, my son just bought a house and he needed a place. So it comes a time where it's like you can only put life on hold for so long. Now, if I was talking to a younger person or anybody in general, and they're like, just maybe I want to buy a house, maybe have it for a year, and then I might move. I'm not going to be pushing that one. That's a hard one. If you're, coming to a point in your life where you're ready to buy, and not having that house is holding you up for moving into the next stages of your life, and you're going to be there long term, then absolutely. But yeah, not a short term proposition, I would say right now for purchasing.
It's funny. Like I know, like we always say, it really just depends on what your situation is, and that's exactly what I ran into this morning. I had a lady that we're going to get the ball rolling, getting an application. Her daughter was just diagnosed with asthma. They live up north and she just can't take that cold weather. Mm-hmm. She works remotely and she's like, I got to get out of here. She's like, and it's really for her daughter's health. So she doesn't care about the rates. She doesn't care about anything. Her biggest thing is my daughter's just not doing well in this weather. We got to move. And it's that kind of put things into perspective. I didn't even need to, really dive into rates that much or anything with her. Not that I'm sure she's not going to look at it, but I'm just saying there's certain reasons why people move, and it's not they don't base it 100% on the rate all the time. So just had to share that.
Yeah, I've had 2 kids. 2 of my kids have bought in the last 6 months. So again, and it was the timing was right for them, and their locations were good locations too. So it just made sense.
Mhm.
All right. So this one here, in general, if I'm looking at when I see there's 50 applications and there's going to be thousands of people going through, I'd be thinking, oh, there's just going to be an exercise in futility here. But it there's enough complications to this and things that you have to put together to be organized that I do believe that people that are going to fall within the right income limits, the right everything, and those that are motivated and want to go get it done, they have a true opportunity to do it.
Mhm.
So again, when I see a lot of these down payment assistance programs, they seem to be out of reach, or they seem to be not so applicable outside of the few that we've been having a lot of success with. When this one came out here, I have some reservations, but again, as I sit there and I look at what needs to be done for people that are organized, that have decent credit, income within the guidelines, they can put the package together, and they have it in at 8 o'clock on October 10th, and they sit through all the classes, they have, I think, a pretty good opportunity to get the money. So if somebody's going to give you $100,000 and say no payments, no interest, take it. Now, at the end of 30 years, if you're there and you have it in the house for 30 years, you get the $100,000. But again, if someone's going to give you $100,000, you get $100,000 more of a house than you can really afford. So it gives you a better lifestyle or a better, quality of life, and you're not paying for that $100,000. When you sell the house, you got to pay it back. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chunk of money, of course, but there are going to be some things that the borrower is going to need to do in advance. And the other thing we're going to discuss is this isn't for the lack of a better word, rush program. It's nothing that you really kind of get into and close in 2 to 3 weeks. And we're going to kind of get into that as well. So some important points about the program.
Yeah, and again, the key to this, like Mike said, is just keep it organized. The very few people that I've talked to, it's kind of funny because they just look at, 50 applications, forget it. And I'm like, well, there goes your chance, if you're going to be thinking that way. But, just pay attention to everything. I mean, yes, they're going to get a tons of applications, but you can't just, for the lack of a better term, half-ass this. I mean, if you're going to go for it, just make sure that everything on here, the checklist and everything gets done. That's going to be your ticket to, to getting this.
We'll help you. We'll do what we can to help you. We'll set up a time that, we'll bring people in here if we need to print out bank statements or pay stubs or whatever we need to do. We'll try and help you. So we'll help you organize the stuff, but you're going to be submitting it with our pre-approval. So we're going to have certain criteria that we're going to need from you to get you pre-approved, but Palm Beach County is going to have certain criteria that they're going to need to make sure that you qualify for the program. Mm-hmm. So let's go through real quick and we'll talk. I do like ballpark figures to get you kind of in to see where you are. But if you're an individual, your income has to be under $54,550. So we're looking at household income. It's all the adults that are in the house. So if there's one adult or one person in the house, and I'm sorry, it'll look at everybody. So they add up everybody in the house and the incomes of all the adults. So if you have just one person in there and they're making $54,550, that's roughly $4,500 a month is the income that they're making. So we've got to keep your housing expense under, $200,000, $2,000, maybe $1,800. So you're qualifying for maybe a $200,000 purchase with $100,000. You get a $300,000 purchase ballpark. So that could be plus or minus 50,000, but it kind of gets you in the ballpark of what you're looking for. So a sweet spot really on this is as you start coming up to 4 people in the household. So maybe you have a couple with 2 kids. That income can be $77,000. Well, $77,000. Now you're a little bit closer to, $6,500 a month. So now your housing payment can be about $3,000. Maybe get you a $300,000 purchase somewhere in there. That $100,000 gets you a $400,000. Now you're talking about getting a house. You might be able to find a $400,000 house that's doable. Now on here, it goes up to 6 people in the household. On the class that I took, they had it up to 8 people in the household with income up to $104,000. So it's the sweet spot on this one is going to be, a couple with a couple of kids. But look, if you're an individual and you want to buy you're looking for a $250,000, $300,000 place, this could be a good one for you also, So. Now, a key on this one here is 50 applications will be available online by visiting this website, pbcgov.com, HED, beginning Tuesday, October 10th at 2023 at 8 a.m. Applicants will be processed on first submitted, first qualified, first served basis. You want to have everything in immediately. You want to have everything in immediately. So this stuff here is going to be gone. I can't imagine them not being flooded immediately with all this stuff. So everything will be ready. The application you'll fill out and you'll submit. But yeah, don't be thinking that you're going to try and sneak yours in, the last day, because it's not going to happen. All right. Mandatory orientations. We've sat in on those. They've had 400, 350, 400, 500 people sit in on those just to learn about them. And we have a list down here of the times of those orientations. All right. There's a link on the website. So you'll go to the mandatory orientation, and you'll sit there and they'll verify when you're in there, that you're in there, and they'll give you credit for it. Now they're going to give you a link and an email, and I don't care what they say. I would hit that email and I would send it to them and just give them your information. Make sure you get on that certified list. But the classes you can see coming up, we've got one on the 28th. We've got one on the 3rd of October. We've got one on the 5th of October. And I think you're probably wasting your time if you're waiting till the 10th of October. Okay. So you want to hit it on the 28th, the 3rd, or the 5th. You definitely want to get into those classes.
If you guys remember also how quickly Hometown Heroes went, remember our bets that I don't even want to remind Tom that we owe him dinner, but just how quickly that money went, this is probably going to go just as fast. So don't delay on the classes. Don't delay on getting yourselves organized and getting this submitted.
Yeah.
Just picture it like somebody's going to be giving you like $100,000 if you have all this stuff together. So it's quite a good motivation to get your paperwork together. Somebody's going to be laying out $100,000 for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We were guessing Hometown Heroes like in the 6 months, and it was 6 weeks. This is going to be a 6 minutes, 6 hours. The over under on this will be 6 minutes, maybe 6 hours. And
you almost have to have your stuff, scanned, PDF ready. So like as soon as it opens, you just click send. You really got to be on deck with this.
And I love that you said that, Tom, because just some tips out there. If you're going to send something, make sure that you're scanning all 4 pages. You're taking pictures of all 4 corners. That if they're asking for bank statements or anything that consists of multiple pages that you're sending, every single one, don't assume that just the front page works of your tax returns. Every single page. So just very detailed. Look at what they're asking for and provide what they're asking for, because this is what's going to, at least when I was at the bank, I used to be told this all the time. If I don't get your file complete, they would just take it and put it at the bottom of the pile. And that never made me happy. So just know that may be something that happens. If it's incomplete, it's going to go to the bottom of the pile. If it gets revisited, then you may be lucky. But I remember that was a big lesson that I learned while I was there.
Were you going to the bank burying our files, Elizabeth?
No, if it was incomplete, that file would just go underneath. So I always made sure like that. Man, I should take my advice now, huh? But make sure that everything was just neatly placed and in order, and in order for it to be seen the first time around, because they're very specific on what it takes to have these files completed.
Go for it. I'm sorry. I think that's a great point, Elizabeth. And again, if you think of, and we've discussed us being retentive on paperwork, it's almost like they're going to be just getting a ton of applications. And if there's one wrong thing or one thing they don't like, next, they're going to keep moving on to the next. So paperwork is going to be critical.
Yeah. Now, for our customers, you can come in here, we'll scan stuff and we'll help you. But look on your phone, in the notes section, you see that camera on there? You can go to your phone on the notes section, you go to the camera, you click on that, and it's going to ask you want to just take a photo or do you want to scan documents? So you can scan documents. You line it up. When it sees the 4 corners, it takes a picture for you. It scans it just like a copy machine. So you don't have to, and you don't look at, if you got 20 pages of your tax returns, you don't want 20 files. You want 1 file. So you're going to take a picture, and you're going to call it 2022 tax returns, whatever. And then you can do that with everything, your bank statements, all that. You can save all that. So if you've got the phone, you don't have to have any special program. We've had all the programs before, but it's right there in your notes section under scanning the documents, and then you can just upload everything. But again, the reason why I know that people have access to this, because there's so many ways for this to go wrong. There's so many ways that people don't scan it. Oh, I thought I uploaded. I didn't realize this. I didn't realize. So there's a million ways that the 500 people that are going to do it are going to have stuff wrong. So for those that, and we'll help you, we'll look at the stuff and we'll help you. You're still going to have to upload your application and upload the documents. We'll help you get ready and give you a good shot.
If you want, and I don't know, I hope, bring your documents to us, and bring yourself a little zip drive or whatever those things, or thumb drive if you want, and we'll scan them and put them on the thumb drive, and you can go ahead and put them back in your computer if that's going to help you get your application uploaded that quickly. So we'll be happy to do anything that we can to kind of help you get your documents uploaded, because in this program, it's up to the borrower to get approved before we can kind of help you. So that's why anything you need, reach out to us. We'll help you get those documents there.
Right. We'll cover them. We're not going to go too much. I mean, we'll go a little bit just so you can kind of see an idea of what this list is. But as we go through the list, it's our part is right here. There's the mandatory orientation, which you have to go to the link and go to the mandatory orientation. Pre-approval letter. That's what we're going to collect documents for the pre-approval letter. They're going to be collecting additional documents. So we might need just a few things for the pre-approval. They may need a lot more. But driver's licenses for everybody in the household, birth certificates or valid U.S. passports or naturalization certificate for household members. For non-U.S. citizens, household members provide copy of permanent resident card. Verifications of employment completed within 30 days. So VOEs, which not everybody will have, but we can also do pay stubs. And pay stubs, everybody should be able to chase down. But VOEs may make more sense. Self-employed provide year-to-date profit and loss. So if you have your tax returns, what I like people to do is I recommend their P&L lines up with the tax return so it makes sense. So if you're doing a Schedule C or you're doing an S Corp, whatever you list as your expenses and your income on the S Corp, break down your P&L so it matches your tax return. So it's easy for people to see, oh yeah, this year they did this year they did this, year-to-date we're at this. So just have them line up, and then you provide that information. All right. And they're looking for, are you going to be exceeding those numbers? Now, I will say there's qualifying ratios, what we qualify you for. And then there's also what we qualify you for what you can afford. But you also have qualifying income based off of whether you qualify for this program. So one thing that's always tough with customers is I might give you $50,000. If you're an individual, when I add your income, I give you $50,000 of income. When these down payment assistance programs qualify for your income, they give you $60,000 of income, which disqualifies you from the program. So we might qualify you on a lower income amount for being able to borrow. They may qualify you on a higher income amount, which does not allow you to qualify for them. So there are two different things that we look at when we're doing the qualifying. But self-employed, you got to be able to show your money. We say to people and they want 2 years of tax returns from everybody. But if you're not showing money on your taxes, it's not going to count. If you're getting Social Security, you need to get Social Security awards letters. So we need to see your Social Security. Pension, you need to get pension awards letter. Court ordered child support documentation and a proof of Palm Beach County Clerk and Comptroller's Office that there are no child support cases or awards. And all appropriate legal documentation for adoption, divorce, battered spouse, or restraining order. So if you're behind on child support, you want to get that fixed now. So you want to have that if you want to get access to this, you want to have that straightforward.
And just know also, I don't think I see it on there, but for like Social Security, I don't see that on there. Okay. So the awards letter on Social Security, you could get that right from online. You don't have to go stand in line. You should have gotten it at some point during the year, right before the year ends. You get it for the following year, but it's something that you could get very quickly on the Social Security website. So a lot of these items, you don't have to go chase down. You either already got them. They're just probably in your junk drawer in your kitchen, or you could just simply go online and request a copy. So I know I get a lot of, the Social Security awards letter. I tend to get a lot of people that just grab that and just toss it. But But it's accessible. You could get it through the Social Security government website.
Right. 2 years of tax returns for everybody, 3 years if you're self-employed. So if self-employed, provide a current 1099 and 3 years of most recent signed tax returns as submitted to the IRS. So if you're self-employed, it's going to be a little bit more. Copy of home buyer education certificate from a HUD certified counseling agency. You'll get a list of those when you go to the mandatory class. Completed county's home buyer education certificate of completion from the counseling agency. Completed nonprofit fee schedule from the counseling agency. So when I see that, I see people thinking, oh, I'm not doing that. So other people like, oh, it's so much, but it's $100,000. If they made it just easy, you want them to make it more difficult. When I see things that are difficult, I see opportunities that the individuals that are more organized can get it. So property can't be over $568,000. Probably not going to have a lot of that because you would have to qualify for 468 to be able to get a 568 purchase. And first-time home buyer just means you haven't owned your primary residence in the last 3 years.
Yeah. And again, Tom, I love the way that you said it at the very beginning. This is $100,000. So this may seem like a long list. This may seem like just a lot of work, but again, it's not, they're not doing the bare minimum. Like they're doing a good chunk there. So is it worth the work? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and we're offering you help. So
now I love this because they have a very expanded definition of first-time home buyer. It's a great one. So it is the provision is limited to a spouse. If either spouse meets the above test, they are considered first-time home buyers. A single parent who has only owned with a former spouse while married, an individual who is a displaced homemaker and has only owned with a spouse, they're considered first-time home buyers. An individual who has only owned a principal residence not permanently affixed to a permanent foundation in accordance with the applicable regulations. So you have a very expanded definition. So if you're a homemaker and you end up being displaced from the house and you're divorced, you count.
So reading that sentence.
The last one's a lot. You read that last one? An individual has only owned a property that was not in compliance with state, local, or model building codes and which cannot be brought into compliance for less than the cost of constructing a permanent structure. I don't know.
Clear as mud.
Let me tell you, if you come to me with that one, I don't know if that's going to be one we're going to get. That's a lot. Figured you're going to have to sell us on that one. All right. Fund 0% interest rate, deferred payment loan secured by the mortgage, promissory note, and declaration of restriction for 30 years. So don't sell your house 29 years and 364 days after you purchase it and give that $100,000 back. So if you have it for a full 30 years, the $100,000 is yours. If you have it any less, there's no prorated portion. At the end of 15 years, you don't just give them $15,000 or you don't give them just $50,000 back. You give them $100,000 back, anything less than the full 30 years.
And I know 30 years seems like a long time when you think about it, but I'll tell you that my parents bought their house in 1991, 92, I think it was. And then they just sold last year. Spent 30 years in that house. So, I mean, that's where we grew up. That's where I grew up. That's where, my siblings, whatever, lots of memories there. So is it something that when you say 30 years seems like a long time? Yeah, but it just really, it goes by fast. And then, my gosh, my parents even saw their grandkids grow up there a little bit. So yeah, it's not something that, 30 years sounds like, wow, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have to be there for such a long time. Well, it happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely does go fast. I mean, I think I'm about 18 years in my house. So I kind of wish I had one of those 30-year loans that's forgivable because then I'd be able to keep my wife from wanting to move for the next 12 years. I'm pretty okay getting buried in the backyard of that house.
Well, the old thing used to be we'd move, 3 to 5, 5 to 7 years, everybody would try to move to another place. And that's with the way rates have changed and the economy has changed and everything else. A lot of people are staying where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure.
I think job security also has a lot to do with it. And I mean, if you're happy with your job, you're stable, you're doing whatever you got to do when you're in your home right now, and you're not looking to sell it at any time soon. Absolutely. And again, just raising of your children, it's going to keep you around.
Yeah, if you're close to your family and everything else, it's it's now if you want to move away from your family, that's a different story.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's the reason for you if you want to move away.
Well, we want to do this program. We want to get as many people through this program as possible. And, if it's something for you, reach out to me, Tom, or Elizabeth. We'll have you do an online application, most likely, because we are getting a lot of response to this. And we'll reach out to you and we'll do soft credit pulls. But it's a matter of starting to organize this stuff. And again, we'll schedule some times where we'll start bringing people in. If I got to bring them in on a Saturday and Sunday, and we'll help you if we need to print bank statements and things like that. But we'll try and make our facilities available to individuals, that need some help with this. But I tell you, when you look at the people, we run them all the time, you're making $18 an hour, and then $18 an hour is not bad money. I mean, but that's, $40,000 a year. Your spouse is making $40,000 a year. It's $80,000, and you got a couple kids. I mean, it's tough. There is not much you can do in Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
So, it's just for people that are, hard workers, and it's just blue collar, workers, and, whatever we can do to help them out, we definitely want. And we're not going to have time on this one here to be doing credit repairs and credit rescores and stuff like that. So, you just want to have your stuff in order. Just have everything ready. And again, we're big on fixing stuff, making things happen and making it work, finding ways to get things done. And we'll come to us anyways. We'll give you a plan. Everybody walks out with a plan on buying a house. But for this one here, we're going to have to be able to see a few things in line to go ahead and have you ready by October 10th.
By the way, Karen's asking a question, and Mike, I'm going to let you answer this one because you know more about this. The time frame. Is there a certain time from the time that they apply to the time that gets reviewed to the time they get to close?
Yeah, they're saying 4 to 6 weeks to review to see if you qualify. So at the end of about 4 to 6 weeks, so let's say that you get your qualification or you get your certificate that says, yes, you're good for $100,000. Mm-hmm. And they're not good. You don't just get $100,000. If I qualify you and say that you're good for a $350 purchase, which is going to be a little bit weird because you're not good for a purchase amount, you're good for a payment amount. But let's say we got a $350 purchase and you buy a $400,000 house. They're going to give you $50,000. So it's 4 to 6 weeks for them to determine whether you qualify within their limits to receive money. And then when you make an offer in a house, it's going to be about 45 days. So we're going to want 45 days from the time you make that offer to close. So, there's going to come, it'll come with some work because the 45 days is, a little bit longer than we want. Now, I will say, once you have your certificate, we're underwriting the files. So we're providing the loans and the pre-approval. The county is providing the second. So we're able to get customers pre-approved, pretty quickly. It's not going to be 40 days when the loan falls apart. So we should be able to get a quick turnaround, make sure that they're qualified on our side. They already have the certificate on their side, and then we should be okay.
Another question, do I have to have a property in order to apply?
No, you won't have a property right now when you apply. So you want to find out whether you actually qualify. So, do you fall within the parameters of, where they want to give you money?
It's the same thing as whenever we're reserving the funds for the Hometown Heroes and all those other programs that we do. Like, we want to make sure that we have a property in place, that we know exactly what it is that we're, doing the math for, whatever. What is going on with my hair today?
No, I think, we can't. I don't think there's a property that's going to be needed with this. Of course, you got to get pre-approved first, and like we discussed, you're going to need get the certificate to us so we know that you're pre-approved for the program. So no, in this case, the property isn't going to be what's first. The first step is going to be applying for the first step actually is going to be preparing to apply for your funds.
Yeah. And I think that's also for like any pre-approval, before you even start looking for a property. I know that a lot of people just go straight to a realtor and say, I want to buy a house. And really your first stop is here. It's with us, with the mortgage firm, to see what you're pre-approved for. So we could look at documentation and kind of give you, I call it the ticket to go buy, to go find a home. But, that's the pre-approval letter that gives you the ticket to go make an offer. So your first stop is going to be getting that certification, like Mike explained when we were on the website, going through us, and then eventually just then you'll be able to find your place. But it's all in order. So don't even worry about finding the perfect home right now. It's all about getting approved with the program, approved with us, and then finding the perfect place.
Now I've got Rogers asking, is this money good for purchasing anywhere in the state of Florida? Which is not a bad question, because we do a lot of down payment assistance programs that may say Hillsborough, or it might have different counties or different locations on that are good in other places in the state. But this one here is just for Palm Beach County, and it's really unincorporated Palm Beach County. So it's the unincorporated areas of Palm Beach County. If you're buying within cities, then the access has to go through city money first. Mm-hmm. So it's really is going to reduce your chances. It's more for unincorporated. But if you look in the unincorporated areas of Palm Beach County, you can see that a lot of Palm Beach County is unincorporated. So I believe it would probably be more the majority of Palm Beach County is unincorporated. I would want to double check that map. So it does still open up a lot of areas for you.
For sure.
So, all right. That went fast. So we're 30 minutes up, but reach out to us, catch those mandatory classes. I'll go ahead and I'll post the link on our website or on our Facebook page, but I'll go ahead and I'll post the times and the link for them, so you can just go right there. But yeah, let's take a look and let's see if we can get you some money.
For sure. And don't forget that, again, we said this at the very beginning through this last half hour, but we're here to help you. So if there's anything that we could do, just please reach out to us. The three of us, I know that 3 of us are on board with either helping you scan, come into our office, we'll help you download, we'll help you navigate through the system in order for you to prepare for this. So, you can just reach out to us. Okay.
All right, everybody, tmfclasses.com to sign up for something. PR Bakery tonight with Elizabeth. Everybody have a good week.
Bye.
Have a good